Welcome all. Today we are going to discuss about formal letters. In the last class, we dealt with informal letters or friendly letters or personal letters. Today we are going to discuss about formal letters. Formal letters are mainly written to make a complaint or to make an inquiry or to applying for vacancy, asking apology, giving invitation, etc. So these are the different purposes for which we write a formal letter, and they are also called as business letters, or they are also called as official letters. Then the main parts of formal letter include the first one, that is the sender's address. Here the name is not mentioned in this part, sender's address. We mention only the address part. The address is written on the top left or right of the page. You can write it both on the left or can write on the right side of the page, but it is I prefer you to write it on the left side of the page along with your city and pin code. So the address is usually written on the top left. Then after that, you have to write the date. The date should be written under the sender's address, and you have to leave a gap between the address and the date part. And the date is usually written in the format first a date, then followed by month, and then followed by year. Or you can either write it as 10th August 2021, etc. And the date should always be written in full form, and no shortcuts are to be allowed. For example, don't write it as 10/8. Here the year is not mentioned. So it is not advisable for you to write like this, to write the date like this in the formal letter. So after the sender's address and the date, you have to write the receiver's or the recipient address. The address is of the person, the letters B, address, that is a receiver, and the address is written on the left side of the page after the date, and it can be addressed to a particular person or organization. Usually the designation of the receiver is usually given at this part. For example, the editor, to the principal, etc., to the manager, etc. So usually the recipient, the receiver's address include the designation of the person, followed by the organization, the address of the organization. After that, you have to write the subject part. It is written below the receiver's address, and its purpose is to state the main objective to the receiver in a short sentence. So what is the purpose of writing this letter? It is to be written in a short form, not in full sentence. There is no need to write it in full sentence. The subject part is often addressed after the receiver's or the recipient address. And after that, you have to write the salutation. Normally, the salutation that we use for formal letter include it is sir or madam. If the person is known to you, for example, if you are addressing to the head of an institution where you are studying, you can address it as dear sir or dear madam. And that is the salutation part of the formal letters, which is usually followed by a comma. And yeah, Mr. Mr. is used for a male receiver if it is who is unmarried or married or unmarried. Mr. is used for that part. Then Mrs. is for the female receiver who is married, and Miss is used for the female receiver who is unmarried. And doctor, if the can refer to both male and female receiver who is a doctor by profession. Then it is followed by the body of the letter. The body can include one paragraph, or it can include three paragraphs, such as dividing it in introduction, then the main content part, followed by a conclusion, etc. Or you can write it in one paragraph also. So, which is followed by the subscription or complementary clause. And the subscription or complementary clause is often written on the left or right side, but I prefer if you are writing the sender's address on the left side of the paper, you have to write the subscription or the complementary clause in the left side itself. And usually in means such as yours faithfully or yours sincerely or yours respectfully, etc. And only the first part or the first letter will be in capital. Here, look at this, yours faithfully. Here the Y is in capital, which is not, we don't use an apostrophe in yours, which is followed by faithfully. Here faithfully is written, it starts with a small letter. And this comes, and this after the subscription, and includes both the signature and the name of the sender. Unlike informal personal letter, you should put your signature first, then write your full name with your designation, if any, within brackets under the signature. So after writing this complimentary prose or this part, yours faithfully or yours sincerely, which is followed by a comma. Then you have to write your full name. Then if there is any designation, if you have any designation, you can write it in brackets here. And then the signature and the name of the sender. This is the part which we include here. So yours faithfully followed by a signature. Then you have to write your name and designation. Now this is a sample of formal letter. Now look here, the sender's address. It is written on the left side of the page. And here the sender's address doesn't include the name of the person who is writing the letter. Here only the address part. After that, you have to leave a space, which is followed by date. Here, look at the date format 11 April, comma 2011. Here, punctuation mark, comma is used after the month. So, after the sender's address, you have to leave a space. After that, you have to write the date, and after that, you have to leave a space, which is followed by the receiver's designation and address. So, this is the designation, the editor. Then the Times of India, New Delhi. This is the receiver's designation and address. You have to write the address of the addressee or the receiver's designation and address in this format. First one, the designation. Here you can use if it is being addressed to. If you ask to write a letter to the principal, you can write here as the principal. And then after that, if you address to write a letter to the manager, you can write it as the manager and so on. So which is followed by the address of the organization here, the editor, the Times of India, New Delhi, which is followed by the subject part. Here the subject part can be in a concise form. It should be very brief. And don't write lengthy sentences or long sentences in the subject part. And here in the subject part, you have to put a colon followed by a dash. After that, you have to use the salutation. Here, the salutation used is sir. Then, which is followed by the body of the letter. And here there is no space after the salutation and the body of the letter, which is followed by the complimentary clause. Here the complimentary clause used in the formal letter is thanking you, or you can use the phrase thank you in advance, and which is followed by the subscription, that is yours sincerely, faithfully, or truly. You can use any of this, yours sincerely, or you can use yours faithfully, or you can use yours truly, which is followed by comma. Here the Y is used in capital letter. Here there is no apostrophe after the R, and which is followed by the sender's name and designation. Here the name is, and you have to put the signature in this part, in the space given here, which is followed by the name, then designation. Here there is a space here. There is no need for you to leave a space after the salutation part. Sir, here there is a space. There is no need to leave that space. You can directly start the body of the letter from here, from the comma, or you can write the content part within one paragraph, which is followed by the complimentary clause, and which is followed by your sincerely, then after that name. Now these are some of the commonly used salutations and subscription in formal and informal letters. For example, if you're addressing, if you're writing a letter to your parents, you can, the salutation uses dear father or dear mother, which is followed by the subscription, affectionately, yours affectionately or yours lovingly. Then after that, brother, if you're addressing a letter to your brother or dear sister, and the subscription used is affectionately or yours affectionately. Then if you're writing a letter to your relative, you can write it as dear uncle or dear aunt, and the subscription used is lovingly. Then friends, as I told you earlier, when you're writing a letter to your friend, don't address it as dear friend. You have to write a name there. So here the name is Dear Mani or Dear Mala, and the subscription used is lovingly. And if you're addressing a letter to teachers and headmisters, you can use the salutation sir or madam, and which is followed by the subscription obediently. Then officials, you can use, if the person is unknown to you, you can use the salutation sir, which is followed by the subscription faithfully. Then for if you are writing a letter to companies or firms, Then you can use the salutation, sir, which is followed by the subscriptions, sir, faithfully. So this is all about personal and official letter. So if you have any doubt, you can comment in the chat session. I think this is clear to you. Thank you.